There we go. Right, going live. Cool.
Hello, hello.
Great, hello.
So exciting.
What is?
Yeah, it's like
Templates.
Templates.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, cool. Yes, it has been excellent to be able to get that to the point where we can actually turn them around now.
Yeah, I think the most exciting part of that I saw as I was exploring the UI, and I know that you hadn't deployed anything to the API, but suddenly there was a new template all of a sudden showing up.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. That can
Yeah.
just start sort of happening on its own.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah, so for the public, or the public sort of fully available templates are all hooked up to this repo. Well, we have some emojis going, but there will be more emojis. I've started to put some instructions in yet, but I guess what we'll do is we'll put some proper docs on Curvenote and get a link there to the docs. Maybe just a couple of little how-to looms, sorry. But we'll build that up as we go to get to the point where somebody could open up a PR with their template, basically. And I guess some docs, some utils or scripts to show how to run the templating and test your template with your content, and and the examples that are on here. So, for example, if we nip in here, we can have a look at this one that was just sort of ported. This was the SBIE one that we're printing for Kevin. And so the SBIE provides a whole bunch of stuff. This report bib can come out, actually, that was their example. I'll prune that. But they've got an EPS, which font file, I think. Or is that a logo? No, they don't have any logos. Yeah. A class file, which loads this. A BST, which is their bibliography style definitions. And then what we write, and I've got a thumbnail in for this one, with their default content, and that's a thumbnail that we could get shown in the UI at some point. Then we are, in order to prepare a template, we sort of take the main.txt, the index.txt that they provide in their sort of package, and we edit that back. So we'll take out all the content, because it seems like the templates usually get this main.txt, which has all example lorem ipsum style content in, or like the SBIE, they actually go through and explain what their styles are, so that there was loads in there. But we have to go through and make some changes, and then also add in some of the templating stuff that we are providing. So, for example, you can see in here that there are some sort of data structures and models defined behind the scenes. So when you're writing a template, and this is what our docs will explain, there are various objects available to you, like the doc, where you get all the information about the actual Curvenote article that is being rendered. So the title, the authors, the affiliations on the authors, and then there's also options, which translate to user options. So this one isn't plumbed in yet, but for example, this could be an option that allows us to configure the doc class, either as A4 paper, or leave it blank and it would be letter, or no compress, or potentially as well just a concatenation of different options to feed to the doc class. And then we also have this sort of tagged field And this tagged fields allow us to nominate different blocks within the Curvenote document and render them out differently. So here the abstract. So if there is a block tagged with abstract, we will insert it here. If not, we won't render anything at all. And similarly, down here is the acknowledgements.
That's cool.
And then the main content comes in there, which will be all the other blocks in order, except for the tag blocks.
Super cool.
So there's one little exception with this one is the that you're not going to be able to see in the template, I don't think, is the appendix. So imagine you have a whole bunch of blocks, and then somewhere at some point down your blocks, you decide this is where my appendix starts. At that point, we need to insert a LaTeX command.
Yeah.
And that's going to come in somewhere through the content, but we sort of can't know that until runtime. So other tags might be inserted in line in the content in between blocks as we pass the whole thing, without there being a placeholder here from whoever made the template. Well, that's the current position anyway.
Yeah. I wonder if there's something similar to like the abstract, except it's like a list of blocks. Because there's well, I don't know. I'm not quite
Yeah,
sure.
that was the other thing. You could actually tag all of your appendix blocks as appendix, and then have an appendix section. But I guess we can decide on that one a bit.
Or that's a multi-article side of things. Because if you think about how that might look on Curvenote, that there's probably like two documents, two articles.
Yeah. We had one person, I think Andreas, who was helping him with an export, and he'd immediately gone and split them up into two articles.
Yeah.
I think Kevin also, when I was helping him, he was going to do that. That was the natural. But until I said push it into one. So for the moment, So what I might do is have it that way until we get multiple documents, and then that can become its own chapter.
Yeah, because that's certainly, and I guess like at least how I've seen it, like you insert that appendix thing, like command, I guess. Yeah. But that's often after the bibliography.
Ah. Yeah, okay.
Acknowledgements is before. I think it's at least how I've seen it, and I'm sure that also depends on the.
Cool. So let's do that then. Because really, until we get more feedback, or people trying to use it, then we don't know. But I'll check back with the SPI template and see where that lies. But I'm sure the appendix was before the bibliography in their stuff. This was the very last few lines.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, but I'll double check.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I've spotted another one here. I need to do some more work on this. I'm still tweaking this.
I was quite surprised when I opened this up and it was on page 301.
Yeah. So that's a user option for
the page. I didn't even know that you could start PDF pages. Like in my PDF preview, just on my Mac, it said that there were like 304 pages, and that confused me a lot.
Well, if you're dealing with this crazy journals, there's
Start
pages
page.
1892 to 1897, because that's your paper, but you happen to publish it in December.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's in the last issue of the volume.
Yep. That's so funny.
Since I was just looking at what I had done, my last paper, I have acknowledgements, and this is in just the tech file, and then I have the appendices, or just the appendix, just one, and then I have my bibliography, and then I end the document.
Okay. It still makes sense then to have it as a tagged section here.
I guess it's one of those that doesn't really matter, because when it comes out in like the actual print version, it's in geophysics. The appendix is after the bibliography in like the PDF. So I feel like no matter what, it doesn't matter where you put it in the template. But
you're delivering LaTeX to them, and then they're doing a final render as part of the larger publication. Then,
say what?
Well, for example, you render your PDF, but do you give geophysics your LaTeX? And then exactly.
At the very end, you do. Yeah.
And then they process that in Mango.
They prefer Word, but I refuse. Absolutely not. Never, ever, ever. Yeah. So then I'll just give them this, and then they have to put it together.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea to make it visible, and so that the template defines where it puts it in. And if that means more tagging, if you have to tag some extra blocks, then maybe.
I feel like you'd have to anyway, just with tagging them, because if you have images in your appendix, right?
That's super weird. I feel like if it's more than like a few things, I certainly feel like it's an article in the Curvenote sense on its own. Like I'm thinking about the appendices, like in some of the papers that I have written, and they're like a page or two on their own with figures and all sorts of other stuff.
Mine was a whole separate study. They were like, "This is too much for your main paper," and I'm like, "Cool," but I refuse not to publish it.
So should we just not think about the abstract, the appendix at the moment then?
I think that is leaning towards multi.
Yeah.
Document, I would say.
Because we're going to have this sort of book version of this template where we can create a book from a selection of the project. So maybe we park it until then.
Yeah, and then sort of come back and.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, I feel like appendices are not that common, or not as common as at least being able to get out your general stuff.
And like what this is really saying right now is that like we can't split the content up between like bibliography and some of these other tagged pieces always come after. And I think that's the only thing that we're saying, that in terms of pushing it down the road a little bit.
Or we can split those two tags into content and appendix, and then the appendix renders to nothing if there's no break in there for it.
Like I feel like that means that we're tagging every single block, including things like image blocks and that sort of thing.
You don't just tag the first block and then.
Oh yeah, but you can do that. Yeah.
And then that's your like section break, as it were.
You just like select all the blocks you want to, make.
Multi-tab.
I was like, if that eventually comes down the line.
Yeah. It will be multiple select eventually, but it is still a bit clunky having to select multiple. Then you add one and that one isn't tagged. What happens?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it feels like
I feel like it's a multi-article, and that like also like pushes on the Curvenote side to make use of multiple articles, which is better from a web experience reading point of view.
let's not support that in the single document flow then, and that will push us on to getting the multi-document.
Yeah.
So that.
I think one thing that we may want to support that would be another escape hatch in there is like a raw LaTeX command block or something that's basically hidden in the HTML side of things and then inserted in the in LaTeX, so that you could say insert appendix command here, or insert a TXZ figure or something.
I see what you mean.
And then you're just reading through that on that side, and it's totally fine.
And that being inserted in Curvenote.
And that not being rendered in the view only mode of Curvenote.
Yeah. 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 So it feels like,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it feels like, I mean, it's almost like you go along the Curvenote and you go into the document and you just almost, if you put a section break, imagine you had a button that put a section break and put a green line across a little section break or something. It's the same thing, except what you were suggesting was, oh, I'm inserting a bit of raw LaTeX here, which is like the full flexible hacker's way to do it. Put whatever LaTeX in you want. Yeah.
Yep. Because there's like going to be a whole ton of LaTeX stuff that we don't support at all. Like the figures and, or like TXZ figures and that sort of stuff is just like, that doesn't really have, well, not an easy equivalent over in
no, but and if they become common, then we can add them as stuff that people don't have to write LaTeX for it. But they get, that's what they get. Yeah, cool. That's a good idea. That's great. So yeah, so adding one of these things here, then it shows up in the UI. And actually, let me go in, because the YAML file is the other thing that the template author has to define. That has some metadata. And also the config, which is sets of how to ask Curvenote for its how to respond to the how to respond to what Curvenote serves up from its API, basically. Build layout was compact because that's single paper mode basically, as opposed to book. And then these are the tags that can come in on this template, or will be used on this template.
Super cool.
One thing in the UI, we've got in here author name, and I put SPIE because it's their template. Curvenote is not their Twitter, but I'll fix that. But then over here, we've got contributor, SPIE, but they didn't contribute it to the repo. So yeah, I need to clarify what this is. Is this the original? This is the person who put it in the repo?
Yeah, I feel like the SPIE should be in there at some point, and like having a link to their author contributor guidelines as well, if we can do it directly. And then contributor, yeah, maybe we separate those out in the UI as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like some sort of hover or something that gives you the more information in the user interface about those sorts of things.
Yeah. And maybe some clarification, on what these fields exactly should be. So
I'm
they're
also
consistent.
not sure what the difference is between 8 and 16. Oh, like overleaf and then the source. Like what that source means in 8.
Exactly, yeah. That's the name of where it came from, because we picked it up from the overleaf version. And that's the link there. But I think, because the SPIE also points to overleaf. Yeah, so this source is maybe what that needs to be is SPIE, and we can link directly to the zip file from SPIE. Cool.
And I feel like this one, like pointing to the source, I'll, give you this URL directly. Anyways, I'll follow up with you.
Yeah. And then tags, we're going to have a proliferation of tags. So I guess we should decide some nice tag, pool of tags to draw from. Again, to be consistent. Yeah. And what they mean. I'll start documenting some of that in the README.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Because I feel like this shouldn't be a report here. I don't know. Article is it's based on the article document type from LaTeX. Again, I don't think one column is really that useful. 2 columns useful.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair. It's like, don't document both. Yeah.
It's 1 column unless it's 2 column. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So now's a good time to do a bit of consistency and start getting those things sorted out and set the standard for them. And we'll put them
that's
in,
super cool.
We'll document that up front. Cool. I'm going to export something live. See if that's going to work well. And currently we have 2 slots for a PDF and a text. And if you keep re-exporting and changing templates, well, you're just filling up. You're just re-exporting into your download slot.
I really like that intermediate, like just seeing where the job is along the way of just knowing that it's been launching versus fetching versus building. It gives some, well, it feels good.
Yeah. And we can speed that up over time. I think once we've got more things supported and we've seen more, we'll know how to trim our container a bit. Cool.
Why do you have 2 references there?
Because I actually wrote my references manually as a block. Okay. So that is like I wrote that as a list. And now if I actually go through and properly add my references to this article and delete my last block, which I should do.
And if Curvenote actually supported the things, showing you those references as well.
Yeah.
On that side, that would be nice.
But I've only got 1, so that's why.
That's cool.
Great.
Super awesome.
Cool. And then this is a bit better than it was before, and it will change again over time. I think as in we allow more downloads in different formats, but it allows you to get back to this screen at any time, and the logs are available as well.
That's awesome.
Cool. So that was like a thin cut of what we're building towards, and a good first step. So Yeah, next will come more templates, and then some different user options, which we have to go and I don't know, pool a bunch of typical user options. Paper sizes is for one, because it's A4 over in Europe and maybe other
and
parts
having
of the
some
world,
of
and
these,
letter.
some of those like standard options like set page even can be in advanced. Like if you can label the option as advanced so that people can go in and this options UI can have a, like, show me all the things I can tinker with.
Yeah. Do I like that set page number as a start up? Is that what you were talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's for every template out there.
Yeah.
Well, I think more or less, but
Yeah, exactly. Some are going to be everywhere. So if that's the case, then and there are general options for everything. They don't need to be specified maybe in the YAML on a per template basis.
yeah, I think that because I'm guessing you have fall throughs that most of the things in the individual templates fall through to the defaults that are in code, I suppose.
Don't follow.
Like your Python library parses these outputs somehow and has defaults, I'm sure. And so just leaving the defaults in there.
Yeah, but not for things like page size, site style, date or time style, page number, because these are all things that we could add to the templates.
I feel like there are a bunch of them in sort of the schema and probably layout side of things that are general across all sorts of LaTeX. That could be applied to any template if we wanted.
And that's taken care of at the code level. We don't need to specify in the YAML. Yeah.
And has good defaults that it falls down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we know what that full list is yet.
No.
Although,
gosh, no. Yeah.
We can we can build it out.
Super cool. Yeah, no, I'm loving the new, well, and just the fact that templates are starting to show up.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
What else is going on?
Yeah, I was just starting the BibTeX processing job this morning, so I'm hoping that I can get a UI in for that, which means drag from your reference manager into Curvenote and have access to all of your things. And then I'm also going to do that so that you can, well, that means that we're processing actual BibTeX, which means that there's at least an escape hatch for like I want to be able to slightly modify the date of this thing. We should be able to do that as well.
Yeah. Or fix the symbols and the title.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, that means that there's probably a download BibTeX.
Because when you say drag in, you talk about dragging any bib file that you've got. Somebody's given you a bib file you found.
Yeah. So either an individual BibTeX, which you can, or a bib file which you can find in like Google Scholar or a lot of other places, or from exporting from Mendeley or Zotero or something else.
Cool.
And so that should come in through the upload panel. Okay. Yeah. Which will be quite exciting.
Cool. Liz, you had a fun week?
every time I document something, it's literally the thing you guys are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna change this in like the next 30 seconds.
Nah, it'll take a week.
Makes me laugh. Like I just was like download or like upload something. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean that's how it's always going to be. I think like once we get the initial structure of the docs, then it's going to be.
Oh yeah. No,
like
no.
for example, I went in and edited that citation piece and just added a new thing. So I feel like that's totally fine.
No, it makes me laugh, and I hope that folks see that. I'm like, it's constantly changing.
Yeah, totally.
I'm still bitter anytime something else goes wrong with anything. I can't complain and have it magically get fixed in about 20 seconds. So I don't know how to live life anymore.
Cool.
Otherwise, I mean, Jupyter works again, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that was an issue.
Everything is good now, so that is
Good.
far less stressful. So.
Did you need to reset the extension, like flip the switch before it started working, or?
I think so.
No, it was okay. Fine. Good.
It was just good to go. I don't remember.
Cool. And we did release another extension that takes a few hours to go out. I'm not sure if it's out yet or not. But and that now only has one save new version button visible at any time. So, and when I took the button off and the menus out and I had to play use it, it does make sense. And there's less UI, which is good. Yeah, like less UI.
Just keeps it simple, or at least straightforward for folks. So.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can still. Oh, sorry.
It's dangerous for, I guess, others who don't see it every day. So.
Yeah, totally. You can still change the version and use latest. Yeah. And okay.
Revert awesome. Blocks and all sorts, and so you can still you still got all that flexibility, but you're saving a snapshot of the notebook.
So cool.
Cool.
It is deployed.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Lovely. Nice.
Sweet. You can save 25 minutes and get some BibTeX upload processing done.
Yeah, do it. What's the space for more changes, more templates, BibTeX?
Yeah. Well, I've been wanting to do this one for a while, and it's good to have at least 3 people who are also asking for it. It's, gives some pressure there. Awesome. Cool. Okay.
Let's call it there, and we'll see you next week.
Cool. All right. Have a good one.
Good night.